what do you share with Bruce Springsteen? And that's a difficult question to ask yourself because he's such a figure. And then in that first meeting, he shared with me that thing that I went, oh, this is something I know.
It's a 305 V8.
Never owned a new car before.
It's awfully fitting for a handsome devil rock star. I do know who you are.
Well, that makes one of us.
Bruce Springsteen, he's been involved throughout this entire process. How was it like the first time you met him?
The first time I met him, it was really exciting. It was here in London. I was invited to go see him perform at Wembley. And I'd never seen him live before, but I'd been watching sort of concert footage for months, you know, because I knew I was doing the film. And I was invited to sound check. And so I got to see him like so in his element as a performer. And they finished sound check and he kind of found me in the pit because I was the only one there, and he asked me to come up, and our first 15 minutes were, you know, center stage at Wembley here, and we mostly talked about, you know, I talked about my kids, he talked about his grandkids, and then we went back to his dressing room and I got to ask him some more questions about kind of the film and this period in his life and what was going on with him. But he was instantly very kind of gracious and generous with his time and very honest right from the beginning.
Is there like a specific question or conversation you had with him that really influenced your performance?
Yeah, I mean, even in just that first meeting, I didn't expect to get an answer so sort of thorough and honest, but I'd asked him about the period of the film where he's kind of driving across the country with Matt D'Elia, going to Los Angeles. And he said they're at the county fair, and he has, you know, what was described as kind of a panic attack. And I said, I think I know what that feels like, but what was actually going on in your head? And he said, all of a sudden I felt like an outsider, like an observer in my own life. I felt no sense of real presence, and I felt really kind of like imprisoned and separate from my experience. And that was a feeling I was familiar with, or I have been familiar with at periods in my life. And so in the beginning, you know, you're kind of asking yourself, well, what do you share with Bruce Springsteen? And that's a difficult question to ask yourself because he's such a figure. And then in that first meeting, he shared with me that thing that I went, oh, this is something I know. This is something that him and I share. And so I kind of found like a tether and some confidence in that moment.
He's repairing that hole in himself. And once he's done that, he's gonna repair the entire world.
Trying to find something real in all the noise.
You always do.
This film depicts, like you said, the panic attack and sides I didn't know about Bruce Springsteen and maybe others might not know. What does it mean for you to get to portray vulnerability and masculinity like this while also playing one of the most popular musicians in the world?
I think I felt very lucky to you know, that the film is focused on this period. You know, he's toured The River, which has been his most popular album to date at this point. Born in the USA is Coming, which will obviously take him into another kind of like level of stardom. But it's a real period of introspection and like discovery and pain, of course, and revisiting, you know, his youth. But I get to play kind of the performer Bruce Springsteen, and I get to try to find the kind of young man separate from the name, the title. And I think why this period, or why I thought this period was kind of so important in learning about him and reading his memoir. I think Bruce had a lot of doubts in his 20s about his ability to be a really good partner, and perhaps doubts about starting a family himself, but I think it was something he always wanted very deeply. And I think in this period, you know, when the film takes place, he's making discoveries about himself, and he's making choices going forward in a way that allows him to ultimately like meet Patty, his wife, and start a family. And so the way I viewed the film at its core was kind of like the struggle of it for me playing Bruce was kind of like a fight for a family that it just didn't exist yet, but it was present. That's what he was heading towards. That is what he was fighting for, I guess.
And you sing and you play the guitar yourself
Yeah.
in the film. You play these big concerts. You play these intimate recordings. Which part of that did you find the most challenging?
I think the guitar, you know, I mean, all of it was difficult, but at least like, you know, the instrument of voice I'm familiar with, at least. Not to say the singing was easy, but I knew I could at least try. The guitar I had never picked up before, and it felt so alien and kind of foreign in my hands. And Bruce like plays with such confidence, and he's so physical on stage. So I knew not only did I need to learn how to play the guitar at times in the film, but like play it with confidence and presence and stage presence. And so that was daunting. That kept me up some nights, like thinking that we were leading up to, you know, this. Yeah.